for that entree. Dorothy Mogwai, as always. I'm the person who's just going to welcome you today, and Jonathan's going to be the MC, the host for the various events, or singing and poetry and so forth. But I wanted to make a mention of the little flyer we did out, which has the letter we've sent to members, and at the back of it, we've put a list of organisations in the area. Now, Tim will put these up on the website, so you don't have to worry about it. And already, my friend John Sheehan has said we've got the East Hampton group, and we'll add to that too. So there's only 5 on the second page, but Tim will put this up on the website. But we wanted you to go away with something, to know that there are places where our paths will most likely meet. Agus Benny Michaela Arish, and we'll be together again. Unfortunately, Sam, who's one of the co-founders and a committee member, is down with COVID. So that's why we're staying with the masks. I know it's a pain and the whatever, but we want to keep one another safe. Other than that, I wanted to mention that Margie, one of our Margaret Marr Award winners for her writing project, reminded me that today is Emily Dickinson's birthday. She would be 193 today. And I'd say it was Margaret Marr's good cooking that kept her so long. Anyway, born in 1830. Yes, 1830. So 190, amazing. Okay, so without further ado, the points that we laid out in the letter to you was to explain that we've done 10 years. The committee were of the view that we'd go while we were strong, and everybody was giving the best of their energy. There's an Irish saying, Nihe lona guihe lona scolled, which means the day of the wind is not the day to be tying down the thatch. The scolled is the wooden, I think they're willow sticks that they keep to. So it's not the windy day we wanted to go on, but we chose a nice song. We've acknowledged in this introduction and the letter to our members the support of the Irish Department of Foreign Affairs and the Boston Consulate in particular, and they've given us a small grant for advertising every year of our existence. Nice to have that support from the mother country. And we wanted to remind you that all of the ones that were filmed, this again is Tim Goodtime, very briefly with that, treasurer, AV person, monitor maker, what is it? Dishwasher. And Annie, where would we be without the cooking and the stove? And Jonathan and Amanda for the music. So remember, any of the ones that were filmed are still available on the Amherst Irish YouTube, and if you want to look at photographs and so forth, they're available on the website. And again, Tim is doing something so the website will be preserved. And the Jones Library are establishing an Amherst Irish small archive, which Sam is going to be in charge of. So it's been a great 10 years, and let us now celebrate, and I'll hand it over to Sean Clark. We'll be another.
Thank you, Egypt. I was thinking you spent 10 years, and it was, Matt and I were talking about 10 years since we moved back, all the way back home. And that's when we had the fortunate, happy chance to meet Egypt and realize that we all spoke Irish, and that was just kind of launch into us partaking of the organization here. So thanks to you all. It's a great crowd altogether. So what I'd like to do is first welcome Tim, if he'd like to show us this the Office of Public Works in Ireland. They have this illumination for Newgrange. I don't know, has anyone ever been to Newgrange before? How many of you have been inside of it? Good for you. Jeez, I'm behind on that. Fado. The Ravino. So yeah, real quick, I've only seen it from the outside, and it's spectacular. And every time I go by, I really we need to get in there somehow. So here, thankfully, we have it all in HD, and so Tim will that up there for us. There? All right. Very good.
So, I do want to mention something about this. Because as of, I guess it was last year, the Irish government did not live stream New Grange. Probably because of COVID or maybe something else. But in any case, they are again this year. So if you're interested at all, you can, in fact, watch what's going on there. And the way to do that is go to gov.ie, and that will take you to this page. And then if you see down here, partially down below here, it says, New Grange's Ancient Secret, join us for live streaming. If you click that, it'll take you to another link. And this evidently is the page that on that day, you can make a connection and you can stream the New Grange experience. So it's important to understand that that's about, and I checked with Ida on this to make sure I was right. In Ireland, it's 8:41 in the morning. So it seems very, very late here. However, we're 5 hours different.
Ahead.
Or, well, yeah, so it's going to be 1:41 in the afternoon. So it's important to leave yourself calm.
No, it's started at 5 hours. 3:41 a.m.
Okay, sorry. This is why I did this with the other people. In any case, you want to check this, and you want to make sure that you got your times right, because it's going to be screwed up if you don't, and I just did, so. Make sure you take, if you really want to do it, make sure that you get it right, and don't miss the opportunity. Okay? Jonathan, I'll hand it back to you.
Thanks, Jim. Highly recommend if anyone has the caffeine to stay up and watch that. Fantastic. So I'd like to welcome good friends of mine, Ted Sulos. And just set I've known Ted for quite a few years at this point, and he's a fantastic musician. We've had the joy of playing music with him for several years. And Lynn has thankfully saved him from a life in penitentiary. Not true at all. But, we're very happy to have them both here with us, and they're going to play Eleanor Plunkett's Hurrah, Carolyn for us. 10 with a poem by Robert Frost entitled Christmas Trees.
This one doesn't include any time references, no international date line. So maybe we'll get it on. So this poem was written in December of 1915 when Frost was living in Franconia, New Hampshire. And as I was looking into this poem, it's just a very pretty poem. I've liked it for a long time. What I didn't realize about it was that when Frost came up with it, he wrote it out for a few friends as a draft and sent it out, but his daughter Leslie illustrated the pages on top. So the interesting thing about it, as I thought about it, is can you imagine getting that as a gift, a handwritten poem by Robert Frost with his daughter's illustrations above it? Oh, that would have been so cool, so exciting. But in any case, the only thing you need to know about the poem is the going price for a Christmas tree in 1915 was $1, right? Which is going to come up in the poem, but times have changed. Times have changed. Okay. The city had withdrawn into itself and left at last the country to the country. When between whirls of snow not come to lie and whirls of foliage not yet laid, there drove a stranger to our yard, who looked the city, and yet did in country fashion, in that he sat and waited till he drew us out, buttoning coats, to ask him who he was. He proved to be the city, come again, to look for something it had left behind and could not do without and keep its Christmas. He asked if I would sell my Christmas trees. I would. The young fir balsams, like a place where houses all are churches and have spires. I had thought of them as Christmas trees. I doubt if I was tempted for a moment to sell them off their feet to go in cars and leave the slope behind the house all bare where the sun shines now, no warmer than the moon. I'd hate to have them know it if I was. Yet more I'd hate to hold my trees except as others hold theirs, or refuse to hold them beyond the time of profitable growth. The trial by market, everything must come to. I dallied so much with the thought of selling. Then, whether from mistaken courtesy and fear of seeming short of speech, or whether from hope of hearing good of what was mine, I said, there aren't enough of them to be worthwhile. I could soon tell how many they would cut. Let me look at them. You could look, but don't expect I'm going to let you have them. Pasture they bring in, some clumps so close that lock each other of boughs, but not a few, quite solitary, and having equal boughs all around. The latter he nodded, yes, to, or paused to say beneath some lovelier one with a body's moderation. That would do. I thought so too, but I wasn't there to say so. We climbed the pasture on the south, crossed over and came down on the north. He said, 1,000. 1,000 Christmas trees? At what price? He felt some need of softening that to me. 1,000 trees would come to $30. And then I was certain I had never meant to let him have them. Never show surprise. The $30 seemed so small beside the extent of pasture I should strip. 3 cents. For that was all they figured out apiece. 3 cents. So small beside the dollar. Friends I should be writing to within the hour would pay in cities for good trees like those. Regular vestry trees, whole Sunday schools could hang enough on to pick off enough. 1,000 Christmas trees I didn't know I had. Worth 3 cents more to give away than sell, as may be shown by a simple calculation. Too bad I couldn't lay one in a letter. I can't help wishing I could send you one. In wishing you herewith a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Tim. I would like to welcome Annie Rogers for Child's Christmas Wail.
is a famous poem. It was composed by the Welsh poet Dylan Thomas in 1952. It actually is from an earlier piece that we read on the BBC radio. It's a reminiscence of Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Christmas evening. And it's one of my favorites. It's just one of my favorites. I'm just going to read you excerpts because it's longish if you stay with the whole thing. One Christmas was so much like another in those days around the city town corner now, and out of all sound except the distant echoing voices I sometimes hear a moment before sleep. But I could never remember whether it snowed for 6 days and 6 nights when I was 12, or whether it snowed for 12 days and 12 nights when I was 6. All the Christmases rolled down the two-tone sea like a cold and pinball moon, bundling down the sky that was our street, and stop at the rim of the ice-edged fish-freezing waves. I plunge my hands in the snow and bring out whatever I can find. And then there's this lovely long story about Mrs. Prothero and the garden and the two boys snowballing the cats and the fire in the fire in the chimney and the firemen coming, and you can imagine the whole thing. Go on, this is post-Christmas Eve. Years and years ago when I was a boy, when there were wolves in Wales and birds the color of red flannel petticoats, whisked past the harp-shaped hills when we sang and wallowed all night and day in caves that smelled like Sunday afternoons and damp front farmhouse parlors. And we were chased, and we chased with the English and the bears before the motor car, before the wheel, before the Duchess takes horse. When we rode the daft and happy wheels bareback, it snowed and it snowed. Our snow was not only shaken from whitewashed buckets down the sky, it came shoaling out of the ground and it swam and drifted out of the arms and hands and bodies of the trees. Snow grew overnight on the roofs of houses, as pure as grandfather moss, minute, ivied the walls, and settled on the postman, opening the gate, like a dumb, numb thunderstorm of white with its torn Christmas scarves. With squinting eyes and wind-cherry noses, on spread frozen feet, they crunched up the doors and mittened on them handfully. They were ordinary postmen, fond of walking dogs and Christmas and snow. They knocked on our doors with blue knuckles. And then there were useful presents, engulfing mufflers of the old coach days, and mittens made for giant sloths. And once I had a little crocheted nose bag from an aunt, who alas is no longer whinnying with us, and picture books and pictureless books, which small boys, though warned with quotations not to, would skate on Farmer Giles upon and did, and wrote. And books that told me everything about the wasp, except one. The useless presents, bags of moist and many-colored jelly babies, hard-boiled, toffee, fudge and all sorts, crunchies, crackles, humblums, glaciers, marzipan, and butterbelch, and a whistle to make the dogs bark and wake up the old man next door. And a packet of cigarettes. You put one in your mouth and you stood at the corner of the street and you waited for hours in vain for an old lady to scold you for smoking a cigarette. And then with a smirk, you ate it. Then it was breakfast out of the leaves. And then we get up the whole day about the uncles and the aunts and the traditions and what they ate. It's just gorgeous, but it does go on and on. So I'm going to come to the end of it, Christmas night. Always on Christmas night, there was music. An uncle played the fiddle, a cousin sang Cherry Ripe, and another uncle sang Drake's Drum. It was very warm in the little house. Auntie Hannah, who had got onto the parsnip wine, sang a song about bleeding hearts, and everyone laughed, and I went to bed. Looking through my bedroom window out into the moonlight and the unending smoke-colored snow, I could see the lights in the windows of the other houses on our hill, and hear music rising from them up the long, steady fall of night. I turned the gas down. I got into bed. I I said some words to the close and holy darkness, and then I slept.
Thank you, Annie. And now I'd like to welcome Ija, gone off to their Ija for a poem that you wrote yourself, right?
Yeah.
Called Rogus Nacht.
Well, we've had snow, we've had frost, we've mentioned Emily Dickinson. I feel like I'm in very good company, so bear with me with my own few words. Oscoilia. Broga, Shomavroga. So it's a great Irish word, very simple word children learn. But you don't usually hear it combined with schnachte, because of course we wouldn't have had snowshoes in Ireland growing up. But this poem actually, and I'm struck that we made it through COVID as an association. We went online, again relying on one another to support one another through that time. And I'm thinking of, it's coming to my mind now that Alive, Alive, Oh has become kind of an anthem of being alive the other side of it. So before I read the poem, let's give it Alive, Alive, Oh, Alive, Alive, Oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. All right, I'll give you well done, fine boy. Amanda's going to have you through your paces. But anyway, Broga Schnachte. Mishnach. Mishnach. Haringesjach an ur. Foranish kinte. An gire, lawn, agus lin. Kaffer an sein a chad in oidegen I lor COVID. Aig lat. Kirach de Broga Schnachte. Is schoen amachs na pork in the bone. Fech na cream, coil ord, eg luba in way garov, gan brisha. Eish lo, lig don rihen uha, an luska das sachar, de chemene afrora. Wie goramach, ta anna de hefion, mor himmelert. Nach e got an coyote, a hunamur a rare. Snowshoes. Courage! Courage! Inhale the fresh air. Cold certainly, winter is with us. You must live your life someplace during COVID. Get on with it. Put on your snowshoes. Walk out in the snow, in the white fields. Observe the tall, thin trees swaying in the fierce winds without breaking. Listen to the steady rhythm of their sway. Let that tempo guide your steps. But be careful, there are wild creatures about. Didn't we hear the coyotes call last night?
The real Maya music. And now I'm going to welcome Amanda, who I know of this person, whom I'm married. Amanda Bernhardt. Please welcome her. She's going to sing a song called Miss Fogarty's Christmas Cake.
A special request. I sang this for our winter gathering last year, and it's a goofy song about there's a traditional fruitcake that's often made around Christmas time in Ireland, the Christmas cake, and it's dense is a word that could be used to describe it. It keeps you regular. Anyway, but it's a feat of culinary arts, and so this is a song about the Christmas cake of all Christmas cakes, I suppose. Let's see. As I sat in my window last evening, a letter man brought to me a little gilt-edged invitation saying guiltily come home for tea. I knew that the Fogartys sent it, so I went just for old Richard's sake. And the first thing they gave to tackle was a slice of Miss Fogarty's cake. There were plums and prunes and cherries. There were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too. There was nutmeg, cloves and berries, and the crust that was nailed with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, such a work of a fine stomach ache. They could kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. But Miss Mulligan wanted to try it, but really it wasn't no use, for we worked on it over an hour, and we couldn't get none of it loose. Dunbar came in with a hatchet, and Kelly came in with a saw. That cake was enough by the powers above for to paralyze any man's jaws. There were plums and prunes and cherries. There were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too. There was nutmeg, cloves and berries, and a crust that was nailed with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, such a work of a fine stomach ache. They could kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. Miss Fogarty, proud as a peacock, kept smiling and blinking away, till she tripped over flagons broken, till she spilled the home brew in her tea. And you, Louie, she says, you're not eating, have a little bit more for me sake. And no, Miss Bogart says, I've had quite enough of your cake. There were plums and prunes and cherries. There were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too. There was nutmeg, cloves and berries, and a crust that was nailed with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, such a work of a fine stomach ache. I could kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. Maloney mistook the colic, O'Donnell a pain in his head. McNaughton lay down on the sofa, and he swore that he wished he was dead. Miss Bailey went into hysterics, and there she did wriggle and shake. And everyone swore they were poisoned just from eating Miss Fogarty's cake. There were plums and prunes and cherries. There were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too. There was nutmeg, cloves and berries, and a crust was nailed with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, such a work of a fine stomach ache. They could kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. They could kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake.
Thanks, Amanda. I'd like to take a moment and read a short poem. I'm not much of a poetry person, but this one's very cute, and I made copies. It's in Irish, but it's very, very easy. So I don't have copies. I made enough copies for a bunch, but we'll just maybe share as much as you can. Just share that row there. Take this away with you, and you can find it on online and stuff. If you just want to know like a very cute poem in Irish that you kind of want to use like a party piece. Pronunciation is dead easy, so don't worry about it.
One last attempt to teach you all Irish. Your lesson starts now.
Hang out there. So, as Amanda said, one last attempt to teach you all Irish. I realized she gave me all the copies, so. Right, so what I'll do is I'll read the first every bit, and I'll just give you a quick translation, and then at the end we'll just run through it together and just muddle along. It's great fun. So snow is snoch or snark. So I'll go first. So hit snark the bugwan nuas on spare, or vima and a lee and a labi rare. So soft white snow fell from the sky, and I was lying in my bed last night. And snark the bugwan nish in nachat, gach chach agus kran, gach straij agus park. So the soft white snow is now in every place, on every house and tree, every street and field or park. They sport agus schlé, agam hénig a shan. Sugrunu sa snark to bagwa. So, sport it's like fun, great fun. I will have it in Sean. So the poem is kind of from a young person. Sean, my friend, right? Sean, John Shane over there, right? Sean and I wrote this poem. Playing today in the soft white snow. So very easy. So let's go through it together. It's all right. I'll speak loudly, so I'll try to cover you all. So I'll do the same thing. I'll just read it first through, and then we'll all read it together. Don't worry, it's very short. Torch will be over momentarily. So here we go. So I'll read it, and then you read it with me. Hit snark the bugwa, news on spare, your vima mali and labrador. Ready? Hit snark the bugwa, news on spare, your vima mali and labrador. Jesus, that's fantastic. Ta in snark the bugwa, and nishan nachaj. Got cha agus cran, got stride agus quack. Right? Ta snark the bugwan and nish in half. Got cha agus cran, got stride agus quack. Be sport agus clip, of the game agus shan, su guru sa snark the bugwan. Be sport agus clip, of the game agus shan, su guru snark the bugwa. There. And I also would like to take a moment and thank all of my musician crew that have been coming by whenever they have time to our events. We've had a rotating cast of musicians over the years, and it's great fun and wonderful that we're all here together, even just for an hour. Somewhat recently now, we welcomed two Southerners, Patrick Kavanaugh and Crystal Bailey over there, who moved up to Western Massachusetts from Maryland area. And so their particular focus, they love Schlieb Looper music. So, you know, you've got polkas and slides and all that great foreign music. But I've asked them to play maybe a couple of tunes for us here, if they don't mind. Just, you know, now.
Always happy to represent the South.
Thank you.
Talk about the first one?
Sure, yeah, we're just going to play a couple polkas for you. Southern music. And we're trying to think of something apropos. The first one is called As I Went Out on the Ice.
Yay.
And there's like a little bit of doggerel that goes with it. As I went out on the ice being rough and stony, the ice is bent, and down I went tightly on it. You can think about what that means.
And then we don't really know exactly what we're going to do for the second video.
It'll be fun.
It'll be a poll.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Fun fact, they also both play banjo. We all need more banjo in our life, I know I do. I'd like to welcome back to the stage Ija to read a jama now.
The polkas always make me feel like dancing, and said dancing, which Roisin would know from Kerry, would be the polkas we do with that Ireland. And Marianne, I'm looking at you. Another dancer. Perhaps we'll have a bit of dancing after the tea is over. Okay, those of you who were here for the last presentation where I talked about this new book I'm working on about 30 years of change in Ireland, will remember that one of the statistics that I offered was that 1 in 5 people in Ireland now, in the Republic of Ireland, was born elsewhere. So the population change has been dramatic. It was 1 in 100 basically when I was growing up. And so the context of this story is me as a child, and it is based on a connection. I was reared Catholic, as many Irish folks were. There were Protestants in Ireland. It's not a tradition that I stayed with for my own personal reasons, but I've retained a strong spiritual sense in my life and a respect for ritual and tradition. But this is a Christmas memory of a child, so bear with me. He was fond of wearing his striped pajamas as he took his morning cup of tea in the kitchen. His comfort in our home, a relief from the formalities adhered to the presbytery. My mother and he would chat easily together, mostly about farming. His family worked the land with oxen still. Hers had advanced to the use of a tractor. I climbed onto his lap, took his hands in mine, and surveyed the deep pink flesh under his nails, surrounded by blue-black skin. Ran my fingers across the lines in his rose-colored palms. The rhythm of his nail music fascinated me. Nail music like this. Diddly-doo-doo-doo, diddly-doo-doo-doo, diddly-doo-doo-doo. On it went, over and over. He lilted out the beats as I joined in, his feet tapping in time too, enclosed in their plaid wool slippers. I tried to draw music from my nails, but got lost in the rhythmic sway of our bodies, lost looking at how his ankles were white and dry skin. His big lap held my small frame. His arms encircled me as he played, while I continued to survey him. Flecks of white speckled his hair. His big bulbous lips pursed in and out as he doomed. I put my pudgy finger on his white teeth to see if they were real or false, like my father's. And felt each perfect form, observed their radiant whiteness against a backdrop of dark gums. My poking made him laugh even more. His tongue began to click in rhythm until we two were a mass of bouncy energy in our night attire. I told everyone at school that my uncle, Father Tentani, was home from the missions in Zambia. Sure, he's as black as the ace of spades, said Esther Cuskany. So, says I. Even Lulu Ryan found it hard to believe me. On Christmas morning, saying Mass in the chapel, he moved around the altar with purpose and certainty. The vestments he wore were of a heavy cream fabric with gold brocade, elegant, beautiful. He spoke to the congregation in serious tones, not those of our playtime. I stared up at him, desperately trying to catch his eye, to find some figure of my frolicsome friend. His pious self conducted the rituals with ease and respect. But by communion time, I envied people their proximity to him, their passage to the altar rail to receive the host. I could only watch from the pew. I wanted one of those white circles from his hands, his fingers barely touching the sacred bread. I wanted to say to him, Amen. Yes, to say Amen, with all its weight of thankfulness. But he was unavailable to me, distant. Towards the end of Mass, when he asked the congregation to bow their heads in prayer to receive his blessing, I refused to take my eyes off him. And when all the others were lost in their private meditation on that Christmas morning, Father Tentani turned, winked at me, a big smile crossing his handsome black face as he said, "Let us go in peace." Amen, I said. Amen.
Thank you. Now, to wrap up, we have a couple more pieces before we wrap up today. I'd like to welcome back Annie for parting words. And then after Annie, Amanda will join us for leading us in a song called Parting Glass.
Well, as Ida said, we wanted to end while we were going strong, and while we had the best to give. But I want to take us back to 10 years ago and thank Ida and Sam for getting this whole thing started. Very sorry that Sam can't be with us. I also want to thank Tim, who is, after all, our treasurer, videographer, IT person, dishwasher, whole calendar creator, and everything else you could possibly imagine. And not least, Jonathan and Amanda for the gifts of language and music, and all the musicians who bring us such joy every time we meet. And a special little call out to Naka and Corey, who've been with us from the start, again from the very start. No small potatoes that we got the grants through the Government of Ireland's Emigrant Support Program, and no small potatoes that Ida wrote them, and also accounted for what we did with them. Many thanks to the Emigrant Support Program and the Boston Consulate and again to Ida. But mostly what I want to say is, I'm going to try to do this without breaking down in tears, not up here. Mostly it's to you, the members of the Amherst Irish Association, who have become the Amherst Irish. That is, people who can hold their heads high in the town of Amherst without thinking about the ways that we might have been portrayed in the past, or even thinking about the ways that young people now think of the Irish as people who get drunk and fight one another. We've known something very, very different than all hold your heads high. You are the Amherst Irish. You are the Amherst Irish. And it's been your cheer and your chat and your dues and your showing up and your goodwill and your interest that has really sustained this whole ceremony. And please do go over to the Jones and be interested in the archive. It will get them to hurry the process along and help Sam out of it and getting the archive established. And even as this association closes and we part from this space as a gathering space, I count on the idea that we will see you in other spaces, on the street or in other organizations. You might catch
The list, you're on
I know the list. There's a list that you just handed out of other places you can go to. Also, if you see us on the street, please stop whenever stop us, say hello. What we have done here cannot be canceled. Cannot be canceled. And with those parting words, I now give you Amanda for the parting glass.
Anyone anyone else like a copy of the words? Anybody else? Copy of the words?
Yeah, me. Imagine, shall we stand?
If it's comfortable for you, or you can stand. Each can stand. All right. So, if you are familiar with this song, you can just sing it with me. If you're not, but would like to sing along, there's a part that's repeated at the end of each verse, and I'd really like as many voices as possible on that, and then we'll kind of sing it all together again at the end. I spent it in good company, and all the harm I've ever done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So filled to me the parting glass, good night and joy be to you all. So filled to me the parting glass, and drink the health whatever befalls. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Of all the comrades that I had, they're sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts that there I had, they wish she one more day to stay. But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. So fill to me the parting glass, and drink a health whatever befalls. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. So fill to me the parting glass, and drink the health whatever befalls. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Good night and joy be to you all.
Right, folks, well, thank you kindly for coming to this last meeting here in the background and hang out, chat. We've got tea and biscuits and scones and all this great stuff. And I'm missing anything else, EJ?
No biscuits, sunshine, only scones.
Only scones, sorry.